Okay, let's search for just a regular letter. I'm going to search for the letter E. And I know just by the size of the scroll bar, there are lots of options here, but to the left of our drop-down menu, there is a button that lists all of the blocks and how many characters appear within them. And it can take you to a specific Unicode block directly as well. At the bottom, it shows you a total of how many characters are available. So if I need to find a particular character in Mongolian up here, I'm taken directly to the 4 filtered entries there. Then if I switch this back to Latin, it takes me to the top and I can see my accented characters there that I could use. You can be quite loose with the filters that you put in. If I just do a filter for number here, I can see we've got some fractions at the top. We've got some various number styles. And I do quite like scrolling down here because I see and get inspiration for different character types that maybe I wouldn't have thought would even be available. If I decide that I would actually quite like to use some Roman numerals, then a search for the word Roman, filters down again, and I can hover over each of these just to confirm my knowledge of them, if nothing else. Although as I come down, I have to say I didn't know this was 1,000. It's a C and a D conjoined together. And I didn't know this was 5,000. And I certainly did not know that that was 10,000. So I've learned something even just today. Now, as you start using PopChar, you will find this purple block here starts getting populated with your recent characters. And if they're characters that you use often, you may want to right click and add them to your favorites. And they now appear in that green block at the top. Then you can add as many of these to favorites as you feel you need, so that you never have to search for them again. You can remove favorites by just right clicking and then of course select remove from favorites here. Now I'm in the Arial font at the moment and you can see that I've got 6 recent characters there. And if I go to a different font, you'll see I too have 6. But if I come down here to the Andale Mono font, there are only 5. And that is because I am currently looking at characters from the selected font up here. And I will only see recent characters that were available within that font. The registered symbol there is available, but if I come down to Apple Gothic, there is no registered trademark in that font. And if I select the Bangla one here, for example, we've got even less. And Beirut Regular, we have none. So if you decide that you would actually like to see all of your recent characters, no matter which font is selected, I'm sure you've guessed by now, you change this drop down here. And then no matter which font is selected, you're going to see all of your recent characters. And then just to close this little bit here, if you do build up quite a substantial list of favorites, you can click on this and then export them to a file, which can then be imported on another Mac at some point in the future. Okay, we actually have some different paste options that you can have for inserting these characters into your text documents, and they can be found in the bottom right of this window. Let's just switch this across to my ZX Spectrum font here. And now I'll switch across here into Pages. And if I just click in the document here, we can see that if I was to carry on typing, the font would be Times New Roman. And if I open PopChar, the first option is plain text. And PopChar is going to insert the selected character in the font that is in current effect within the document. So this is the default option that's here. And it's the recommended choice when the font shown in PopChar does indeed match the font being used in the current document. Well, here we can see that font doesn't match. So what happens when I paste it in? Well, we can see it adopts the Times New Roman font of the target document. Right, let's just undo that and come to this second option, which is for formatted text. And PopChar now will insert the selected character along with the formatting information related to the current font. It should be noted, however, this doesn't work with all applications because there are some applications that just don't support multiple fonts per document. You'll see you can also right click and change the font size as well. So now if I click on this, we can see it's maintained this ZX Spectrum font and the size there. Back in PopChar, if I click on this third option here, we can see it allows us to paste the character as HTML, Swift, decimal. We've got hex. We can paste the character's name or description here. So if I select Swift and then click on the character, we can see the Swift snippet in there. And if you want, for any reason, to paste the name, then you can see we've got that option as well. Now, unless you're doing some serious coding, you're probably going to want to leave it on one of the first two options there, because you can right click on the character and you can copy using any of these options here.